Welcome back to the NordVPN Top 6 show. Our title sponsors are the very best in the business of protecting you, your personal information, your identity, and financial details online. Protect yourself against hackers, protect yourself against your data being sold by the big tech and corporate companies as well. All the links to sign up are in our description below. But there are some added benefits to using a VPN, some amazing discounts that you can create for yourself online. Just like being able to live stream legally Premier League football at a fraction of the cost you do when subscribing to the traditional television packages. Companies such as Peacock in the United States of America offer all the games, including 3 p.m. kickoffs, from as little as $4.99 per month. There are options across Europe as well, including Setanta Sports out of Moldova that allow you all the Premier League games, plus multiple other sports, including the NFL, the UFC, and much, much more for just $2.99 per month. So what are you waiting for? Get yourself signed up now with our exclusive offer. The link for all the information is in our description below, or you can scan the QR code upon the screen now. But enjoy the show. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you soon. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. It's a NordVPN show. It's Friday, the last weekend of Premier League football before the World Cup, and everybody is desperate to win. Everybody's desperate to win. We're here for you for the next hour and a half or so. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Get your comments in now. Any questions or any topics you want us to cover, make sure you are getting that done. Hello to you, Chris, and hi to you, Ade, as well. We'll put as many of your comments up onto the screen as we can throughout the course of the show. Of course, we always prioritize our members and our super chats as well. Super chats will star, and we'll come to them later. That's the expression internally. We'll star them. We'll just save them, and we'll go to them later on. I've got a brilliant panel tonight. On my right-hand side, back again by popular demand, Colleen and JJ are here with me. How you both doing?
Oh, we're good.
I'm great.
Got my 3 points.
Listen.
I see the oil money, hashtag bring me the oil for Liverpool. Things are looking on the up, so I'm excited.
And we will be talking about the takeover of Liverpool later in the show. Is it good, bad, or indifferent? To my left, I'm joined by Craigo and man like Kaz. Evening, gentlemen.
How are we?
Good evening.
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 Yeah, good evening.
Loads to talk about. Viewers, you can vote in the next few minutes for the first talking point of the show. Currently reacting to the England. In fact, there's no point even continue to vote. It's won by 52%. It's a landslide. The England squad has been picked. The England squad has been announced. So I want to get your thoughts, and I want to get your feelings. A few people are saying JJ or Mike. That's because JJ sits back like this and talks.
Oh, apologies.
Yeah.
I've got long legs, guys.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's true. His legs are actually hanging out the bottom. Like they're right out the bottom there. England squad announced so. What are we saying? Shocking.
Shocking. Connor Cody's only in there for vibes. Let's face it. I don't know.
That's not the case, though.
No, look. Let's put the elephant in the room right now. Connor Cody, Conor Gallagher, all the Connors, and who else is there? There's another name in there that probably shouldn't be in there. I can't remember. There's another centre back, not Maguire especially, but there's another one. Who is it? Eric Dyer.
Oh.
No Tomori, no John Stones.
No,
no Joe Gomez even.
Joe Gomez has been poor.
I know,
Yeah,
but I'd rather him.
Joe Gomez.
Don't ever tell me Eric Dyer over Joe Gomez.
Yeah, but
Are you all right?
No, I am very good in their head right now.
Hold on,
just checking.
Bro, we're playing a back three, and I get it. He's been playing that system, but I don't want. We got a Maguire.
No. I hear that.
There, but
you can't look like people have this kind of like blindsided mentality when they look at like squads. Yeah, you can't look at the individual player and be like, oh, he's playing great, so we're going to pick him. They're looking at the tournament, which technically is only 3 games, because if you don't and get through, you get knocked out, right?
Yeah.
So they're looking. So as an example, great example. Let's start with KP, Calvin Phillips. Yeah, a lot of people had a lot to say about Calvin Phillips not playing. When you think about it, it's one of those ones where what other DM is available? There's Declan Rice. If Declan Rice gets injured, who else plays in that position?
Well, I don't want Henderson there.
Huh?
Don't want Henderson there.
I don't want to see Henderson either.
But I'd rather Calvin Phillips. He might get some a little bit of game
exactly.
time.
So
but Eric Dyer though,
no.
The worst of the two are Joe Gomez and him. I'm taking.
He's
Joe.
had more experience than Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez hasn't been that great for England. He had an amazing season when we won the league. Bar that, it's been injuries, and this season he's been terrible. Bar Man City game, he's been poor. And I'm sorry to upset any Liverpool fans. I'm looking in the camera as well, but he's been dire. He's been dire.
It's been diabolical.
To the point where we played in the Carabao Cup, Phillips looked better than him.
Nah.
The thing
Did you watch it?
The thing is, I don't think there's been that many controversies in this England
I don't think
squad.
so.
I agree.
I think like
think
there was
so.
this outrageous cry. Tomori is one where you think Tomori maybe should have been there. And I kind of get that people say that. However, when he played against Chelsea, who are not very good at the minute, he got sliced and diced and ripped apart, which didn't help him.
But it's not all about form.
But-
It's not all about form when it comes to an international team. It's about who the manager thinks he can trust, whether I agree with who he picks or not. It's about players that he gets to get with every 2-3 months.
Yeah.
So the people like your Maguires and things like that, where people might be like, oh, he's been crap or he's not been playing. It's because Gareth Southgate.
No, Southgate's
trusts him.
garbage. Let's just put it like that. He only watches Premier League.
But it's the same. Even
He
like
watches
you
only
look at
Premier
other
League.
squads, like even the Spanish national squad, like you see like Thiago and like other players there. You kind of have these kind of similar conversations. It's about allowing that nice blend of informed players coming in who's like never really played under Southgate too much, like Ben White, for example, versus players who's like, okay, when I need someone to go to this game plan or someone I can really trust, X, Y, and Z of them, whether they're informed or not.
But see, this is a really good point, though, because I do agree. And this is why I will attempt to defend Harry Maguire a little bit, because for England, I mean, he's been in 2 tournaments for Southgate, and I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's been in team of the tournament for both of those.
Yeah.
He scored goals for fun in Russia, and then he played incredibly well, and obviously we reached the final Euro 2020. So why shouldn't he be picked? Because that's what Gareth Southgate's got to go on, is what he's seen before, which is Harry Maguire playing well for England. And it's like, oh, shock when it actually happens. I don't think it is. Again, I can't defend what he's doing for Man United, but he's not playing for Man United in the World Cup. He's playing for England.
Yeah, I think when you look at...
for you guys though, do you think it's the fact that Southgate said he was picking people on form, and that's how he's going to formulate his team?
This is getting on my nerves, though, KJ.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I know you're asking it, but it's getting on my nerves now that people keep doing this. This taking one comment that's been made and making it this universal sweeping statement. Yes, he's going to pick people on form, and he did. James Maddison is there as an example.
Yeah.
Ben White.
Ben White.
He won't play.
Callum Wilson, but that isn't the point. He's picked them on form, right? Yes or no?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, we're agreeing on that. You can't pick everybody on form, otherwise you never create what my dad used to refer to as Club England, which is a group of players that know each other. What's the one thing that all great team needs? It's a team that's played together for a period of time and that is gelled. We all say we never want our club signing 7, 8, 9, 10 players in the summer because they'll never gel in time. How could he pick 26 players where only like 3 or 4 are played together and expect them to gel for a game? People are being they're exaggerating, they're being hyperbolic and going, right, how can I didn't want Southgate to take us to this tournament, but the level of outrage people are expressing is a nonsense. They're taking one comment he made and they're taking it to the nth degree and saying if any one player isn't picked using form, then Southgate's a liar.
Yeah.
And that's why he's got to be sacked. And it's nonsense because every manager will not even lie, but if you held every manager account for everything he ever said, then I'm sorry, then Haaland should not be at City, because Pep Guardiola cried on TV and said Aguero is irreplaceable, but he has replaced him. Man, why do people take everything managers say literally? It's infuriates me.
I think when you look at the centre backs as well for England, though, who's a standout in that position?
Yeah.
Even Tomori, we're talking about Tomori. Last season he was incredible, like won the league, and when he didn't get picked for the squad, there was outrage, rightfully so. This season, has he been better?
Well,
he's been
better than most players. Let's face it, JJ. Like, look. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Like, AC Milan are still up there in the pecking order. Southgate don't fly out to Italy and go watch these players. He literally stays in England and does his thing there.
No, that's a fair argument.
But the fair argument is how you picking someone like Eric Dyer. I suppose he might be a bit of a different centre back to Tomori, but if you're playing a back 3, Kyle Walker's only just come back from injury, hasn't really played no minutes whatsoever. I'm thinking like for like replacement of that right centre back option. For me, someone's got pace, someone that can cover and actually knows the position, is Tomori. And I suppose he went for Ben White in that aspect because he's been playing right back, which he deserves to be there. But maybe he can go in as the other centre back spot.
We're forgetting there's also John Stones. Yeah, there's Connor Cody, and then there's
Connor
also
Cody.
No, yes, but listen, Connor Cody. When you look at player for player, if you had to go and compare them, Connor Cody's very similar to Stones. They're both decent on the ball. Connor Cody started off as a midfielder. So what they offer you as a centre back is in terms of keeping possession, especially when you're playing with a back 3. Tomori's not that type of centre back. Additionally, he plays on the left for AC Milan. So if he plays on the left, that means whoever's playing on the left, which is arguably going to be Maguire or whoever, is going to have to go and replace him. And then what we're saying,
right centre back this season.
Huh?
Maguire's been playing right centre back when he has played.
Yeah, he hasn't, but he's not going to do that for England.
And he also doesn't play in the back
United,
three at Man United.
Yeah, because Maguire only looks good in the back three.
I think he's poor. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying he's world class and stuff, but as Craig said, for England, he's played well, and you've got to go.
Connor Cody.
At the end of the day,
As Connor Cody.
He's been all right.
And if you look at Everton defensively, Tarkowski and Connor Cody.
What did Connor Cody do to you, Kaz?
No, he's just not good enough.
Kaz,
he's not good enough.
You're up here.
You're not supporting England this year. I am. I don't want
You
Connor
literally
Cody.
said before we came on air that you're supporting the Dutch. That's
Yeah, because I am
Dutch.
You're Dutch.
No,
I've seen you come here, but I've met you in person 5 times now. I've never seen you in a pair of clogs.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. You're Dutch.
Yeah, I'm half.
You're half Dutch. What's your surname?
Taylor, but my mum's
Taylor.
Van Taylor. Of course it
That
is.
is do you actually know my family name is actually Van Dijk.
Van der Taylor.
Van Dijk.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You wish.
No, I swear on my life.
Taylor,
It's
the
spelled Van
Dutchman.
Dijk, but it's not spelled YK. I mean, it's spelled YK, not IJK.
Oh, like Dick Van Dyke.
Basically.
Oh, right, okay.
Van
that
Dijk.
famous Dutchman. Yeah.
But yeah.
As the Flying Dutchman is here with us, people. Rashford's back in the squad. Right or wrong call?
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I think he deserves a call up. And he's another one of those ones as well where he's always kind of been in and around the England squad. He's a tried and tested player for Southgate. And I think he deserves it. And if he doesn't go, who comes in instead? Who would you have in?
I saw this really good stat. I think it was yesterday I saw it. And it was in one of the papers, which I can't remember. But nobody has scored more goals from open play behind Harry Kane than Marcus Rashford. And I think it's only like something stupid like 9 to 8. There's only like a couple in it. I mean, Harry Kane scores goals. Yeah, fine. But a lot of them are penalties. Let's not beat around the bush with that. It's fine, but it's just one of those things. It's one of those things.
You are right. Sometimes people forget that Southgate can only pick English players.
Yes.
Because it'll be like he's the only player, like he's the nearest to Harry Kane with goals from open play. And then I think people go, yeah, but there's loads in between him. Yes, but none of them are English. It doesn't matter if the highest goal scorer is Kane and Rashford's the second highest goal scorer and he's in 200th position. He's the second best English goal scorer from open play. And I also think he does something different. He doesn't want the ball to feet as much. He likes the ball at his feet, but he can also run off the shoulder. We saw yesterday when Man United played Villa that was the tactic against that mid block. And if you've got a team that isn't sitting in too deep and there's room in behind, and you've got to score goals, I think Rashford won't start, but from the bench he could be a massive asset. And I go back to the Euros, the fact that I know he came on, he missed his penalty. I partly put that down to he didn't touch the ball. He should have come on for at least the second half of extra time because a player like that could have stretched him. And, he should have been utilized a little bit more. So I'm happy he's there. Also really happy that Maddison made it. Because Maddison has been on fire this season. He definitely deserves to be there, I think.
Let's also not forget as well that Leicester are very poor. And he is the only player in that team that is pretty much worth watching.
Don't say Harvey Barnes, because I saw... I got an argument, I think it was yesterday, that Harvey Barnes should be over in the squad over Marcus Rashford. And I said, okay, so if I'm a defender in the World Cup and I see Harvey Barnes coming up against me compared to Marcus Rashford, who are you going to be more scared of? Be honest.
Who cares though?
No, but there's also fear factor when it comes to it. I'm going to be more scared about Rashford's pace rather than a Harvey Barnes running at me. And I was just, and it was so adamant that Harvey Barnes should be going to that England World Cup. I don't agree with that. Unless the squads anyway, you're talking about that.
I mean, I actually like Harvey Barnes.
I think he's
I don't think based on current form and everything.
Good, though, to be fair,
he has. But I mean, is he better than Grealish and Foden?
I think what it is that you got a group of players like in every position in the team where it's just you could chop and change them. So Ivan Toney for Callum Wilson, it's just like meh. You know what I mean? Like
Tammy Abraham, another one you could have easily put him in. Easy not.
Prowse, it's just like meh. So all of these players that we're debating, even Harvey Barnes, is he like, if he's at his best, is he that much better than Bowen? And then he's that much better than
Bowen.
I mean,
with that being said, are we like, how do you rate the England squad? And how far can they get? Because if we're saying a lot of these positions like meh, if you've placed that person, meh, replace this person,
I'm gonna challenge that. I'm gonna challenge that a little bit is when you say about how good is this England squad, are we talking about them in terms of technical players, or are we talking about them? Are we talking about them as a unit? Because this is a different thing.
It's got to be as a unit.
Yes,
because
I
talking
agree.
about individuals it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
As a unit, how do you feel?
Because see, this is the thing with this squad, 26-man squad, we have got to cover all bases and build a team that we think could go and win the World Cup. It's not about picking the best 26 players. Otherwise, you might have like 95 right backs. That seems to be the only position we've got depth at, basically. But see, this is the thing. If you're trying to build a squad and you're trying to build an idea in that what Southgate wants to go for, which has been the 3 at the back at tournaments that in the last 2 has done very, very well, you cannot go against the fact that this squad has got the capacity to play a back 3. We have been successful in a back 3 before. So although I have to say, I'm not too bothered about it. The only name I'd like to have seen in there would have been Ward-Prowse. But other than that, I think it's a good squad. I really do. I don't think we're going. I'm not saying we're going to win the tournament, but I think this is decent.
But I think that's the reason why people, as much as I'm not the biggest Southgate fan, I don't really have a leg to stand on it when it comes to the actual competitions. When it's friendlies and like the Nations League or whatever it's called, and recently we've not been great. But when it's come to the last 2 tournaments, we haven't actually won the trophy, but we've come as close as we've come in a long, long time.
He needs to go after this tournament regardless. Unless he wins it, just go. It's time to go for something.
Why though?
Because I feel like we've got this collection of players and there's still players up and coming.
But why though?
He needs to go, like for me, like unless he wins the thing, I think he's just trying to step down and give someone else the reins. When your manager ends up getting sacked, I want Graham Potter to come in.
Yeah, my logic on Southgate is in terms of the overall squad. I think there's a few additional things I would have done differently, but I'm not going to complain. I didn't want Southgate to take us to the tournament. I feel like he's run his course. Very similarly to Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool. Nearly won you the league, made you a much better team, but then there was a time where he had to go, and what a great decision that ended up being. And I feel like England may have gone one tournament too far with Southgate. At the same time, though, there is a little part of me that remembers everybody talking like this before the Euros. And I remember after the first couple of games, Gary Neville got cooked for saying on ITV, I think he said something along the lines of, this manager is out. He's better than our best player in the sense of he's the most important part of the team. He understands tournament football. Gary Neville was laughed at, and then we made a final. The irony was everyone said we wouldn't get out the groups. We got to a final, and then they still tried to twist it as failure. And I've never really understood that. Arsenal are going through that at the moment. They probably won't make top 4.
Whoa.
And now,
Whoa.
You've just done what Jess does. You didn't let me finish my sentence.
No. Pick another team. Pick another team.
If you let me finish talking. Hang on. One second.
It's a compliment what he's trying to say.
Actually, if you just stop. If you just let me finish.
Yes, you can finish.
Arsenal are going through this at the moment because at the start of the season, everybody said you weren't going to probably make the top 4. You're doing so well that now people are saying it's failure if you don't win the league.
Okay, you can finish.
I can say that now. Yeah, there we go.
Progress.
It is progress, but it's going to be an interesting one. Viewers, how do you think England are going to get on at the World Cup? Starts in just over a week's time. It's crazy how quickly this is
Can I
coming
just
around.
announce something though?
Yep.
It's coming home. I'm sorry. I don't get
Hang on.
No. Hey, I said I'm half. Don't do that because I got another nationality I won't say as well.
Hang on, you can't. You can't be half Dutch, half English, and something else.
Yeah, there is. I'm basically cool, but yeah.
It is changing now.
Break it down for us. Break it down.
My dad's British, fully.
Is there Irish in there?
Oh no.
I saw the ginger. I thought maybe it's a little Irish.
My dad is actually strawberry blonde. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So my nan's Spanish and my granddad's actually Dutch.
Oh, so you've got all bases covered.
Yeah, but I'm not close with the thing is though. But when it comes to my other side of the family, like the Dutch, I'm not really close to them. I ain't seen my Dutch side.
Who did you support in the 2010 World Cup final between the Dutch and the Spanish?
Oh, 100%.
You support the referee. You just supported a good game.
You know what? I didn't actually support. I liked the game of football back then. I was supporting Netherlands more than Spain. I'm not close to my Spanish side, even though my nan's a dickhead. But other than that,
great advert for Ancestry.
I'm for England. I'm going to sing it.
There we go.
I'm going to sing it loud and proud.
Viewers, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Make sure the bell notifications are turned on. We are, as we said at the top of the show, sponsored by NordVPN. Of course, they're important for protecting your data and your information when you're online from hackers and the harvesting of your data that gets sold to those big tech companies. You ever wondered why you might be on the internet one day and Or you might even just be at home and talking about a new garden shed, and you go on the internet and you're being advertised garden sheds. The VPN stop that from happening. On top of that, you can get very cheap deals when it comes to legally streaming football. I currently switch between Setanta Sport and Peacock from America. It cost me $2.99 a month for the Setanta Sports package, and it's $4.99 a month for Peacock. I changed my location via the VPN, and I stream all the games, including the 3 p.m. kickoffs, so I can watch every single game. Sign up to NordVPN now. 4 months free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. All the information you'll get by scanning that QR code on the screen or clicking on the link in the description. Now, the next talking point has been voted for. I want to check on this now. Number 2 talking point is... It's an interesting one because they've had a little bit of a turbulent week. And I have to also say, it's another announcement here. We were meant sitting next to me here. I would have been here. He'd have been there. We should have had Patrick here today. But Patrick
bottled it.
Traumatized.
Like
Patrick
a true Spurs
is not here. He bottled it to such a point where he's pretended to have hurt his knee. This man was pretended to hurt his knee. He's laying on a hospital bed. He's shown us a picture with his trousers by his ankles. Bulge out and everything. That's the level he has gone to not be in the studio tonight. It's 2 weeks running that Tottenham have failed to turn up to the top 6 show. They haven't turned up. They haven't arrived. Of course, they went out of the Carabao Cup, the League Cup this week. And I wanted to ask this question before we move on to trophies, but about Antonio Conte. His contract ends at the end of this month. Sorry, the end of this season. I apologize. They're not going to win that cup. The FA Cup, they might still win. No one thinks they're winning the Champions League. They're not winning the league title. Does Antonio Conte deserve a contract renewal?
Yes. I'm just going to say it now, yeah. See, Tottenham, so mediocre. It's unreal. And this is the thing with all these Tottenham fans. It's a bit like what happened with Arteta, to be fair, Colleen, as well. You know, the first season, a lot of the fans actually wanted him out, right? Like, they wanted him out. But instead, a lot of the fans also wanted to give him time. I believe Conte is a top manager, and I think if you give him time, he will deliver. As long as you give him what he needs and wants, it will come eventually. And it might not happen in the first season, but you're gonna have to wait to the second season to really judge him. I know he's had only half a season, but he's only just got his signings in technically. So he needs another bunch of signings because that whole team.
Daniel, that's the problem. Daniel Levy's never been known to do that.
Apparently, he's going to give him that. I don't think he deserves a new contract in a way, but if you want to keep a top manager and potentially change the fortunes of Tottenham itself, you're going to have to dig deep, like Spurs fans. And some who I've seen Conte out loads. Alan's one of them. So everyone knows Alan by now, right?
Yeah.
Alan Clark, yeah, him. So I and a few others, Danny as well. The guy that wants to give it large on Twitter and gives loads of paragraphs and all that crap. But other than that, it's just, I think just give him what he wants and he will deliver in the end of the day, I think, and it will get you a trophy. Just wait. And that's what you got to do is wait, because that's not
They've
actually,
been waiting.
waiting. That's not, yeah, but it's not going to change overnight. You got a Harry Kane that's going to go out at some point. You got a Son that's going to go out at some point. There's bigger problems at large.
I agree with you, but I think Levy believes in him.
I think Levy believes in him because I think Conte will actually end up staying. To be fair, as long as
I think,
that's not his style of play. That sit back stuff is
What have you seen from Conte's Spurs?
I'm not having it. No.
I'm too quick. What have you seen personally?
No, I'm loving it.
That he should get a new contract.
No, I'm loving it. He's a top manager. Why would you want to say at someone like Spurs? But at the same time, if you want to be where you want to get, you're gonna have to spend that money, mate. Like, and I think he will get his players at the end because that's not his style of football. Go watch how he played at Inter Milan. Go watch how he played at Chelsea in the end when he won. There was a lot of running involved, but you didn't play that bad.
But are Spurs good enough? Forget about Conte. Are Spurs, the players involved and the club involved, good enough to win trophies as of right now?
But that's not the question. They're not. I don't think.
No, it slightly is the question because if you're going to commit to, because let's be honest, Conte's not going to take anything less than probably a 3-year contract extension or something like that. So do you believe that over the next 3 years, that what Spurs have got right now, plus a couple of other players, that Conte is going to have enough to take that over the line to win what? Because if this is to get it over the line to win a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup, like, let's not lie to ourselves, silverware is important, but I mean, we're talking Premier League, Champions League, and then Carabao Cup and FA Cup and whatever. I mean, if they win a pre-season tournament, does that count as trophy?
No,
but
it's not.
At what level do Spurs want to be? I mean, when you've arguably got one of the best centre forwards in the world in Harry Kane and one of the best left wingers in the world in Son, You don't want to be winning that. You want to be winning bigger things. If Spurs don't think they can do that, then why give them a new contract?
If they haven't won anything, like anything, for how many years it's been, a Carabao will mean everything. The reason why there's so much outrage from them going out is the fact that this was the easiest one to win out of all of them when we've come out. So it's a weird one. Conte's a great manager.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
I think what it is that fans are, and I've said it before, they're caught in between two things. So wanting to play the nice football that Pep Guardiola does, or the exciting football that Klopp does, or the football that Arteta's playing. Yeah. Sorry, I mentioned it. Do you know what I mean? But with Conte, it's not that. And at the moment, it's very pragmatic. We just need to get results. We just need to get results. But what it is, because there's pressures from us as fans, us as everyone else, they're getting the results, but not playing the football that they want.
This is where Spurs need to find an identity.
But are they getting the results?
They're third.
No, they're not third. They're fourth.
No, fourth. All right, it's my bad. They're still fourth in the league till Christmas. Till Christmas, they could be. They still could be. I don't know if they're going to go and beat Leeds in a weekend. I'm not too sure on that, but I'm just saying.
No.
You're going to have to give the man time, or you're back in that same side.
Antonio Conte need time to beat Nottingham Forest away from home with a relatively full-strength team. Does he need time to beat the bottom of the league, Nottingham Forest?
Well, I mean, they didn't either, but.
I'm talking about in the context.
They've had injuries.
No. Let me finish.
Answer the question, Kaz.
Do they need?
Answer the question.
It's not good, bro. It's not good. Of course, it's not good enough.
There you go.
The whole squad needs changing anyway.
Wait.
Is Conte the man you want to do that with? Has he shown enough in the last 18 months or whatever he's been?
He's shown over his career.
No. Forget about his career, because I mean, I could go and win the league with Inter Milan with some of the squads that he.
No, we couldn't, because they never won it before him. When he took over, told me the last time they won the league before Conte came in
2010 with Mourinho.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Both Inter Milan clubs.
Yeah.
And look, Juve would dominate, and he came there, he fixed it up and done what he needed to do, implemented his whatever way he wanted, and they won it. And now look at them.
Yeah, but look at
them now.
Yeah, you got to look at what was happening at Inter before they brought Conte in to win that
the thing is, though, but this is the thing. I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think Tottenham are going to give this manager what he needs. Firstly, at some point, Harry Kane's going. Or he's going to be past his best. The man's, is he 30 already?
30 now, yeah.
30 years old. He's got what, 3 or 4 years. Are they going to build him a squad in that 3 or 4 year period that's good enough to beat Arsenal to a league title, City to a league title? My view is, no, they won't do that.
Exactly.
There is zero history in my life. In fact, my dad, who's turning 70 soon, I think has seen his team win maybe 1 league title in that period of time. So it's 70 years plus of history where you've got to undo all of that. So I don't see it changing. I think Antonio Conte is a world-class manager. There's no doubt about it. But Spurs as a football club are too small for him. And I mean that from a point of view of I don't think the club will invest enough in him. I said it in the summer. The transfer window was overrated. Spurs fans wouldn't believe it. Tottenham fans right now are out on the internet. Some of them are out there clipping me up and calling me a bully. Like actually using the word bully.
Oh, you are bullied.
And I'm like, why am I a bully? And he's all, because you quote tweeted me when I challenged you. When he quote, I put out an opinion about Tottenham. He quote tweets me. I quote tweet him back. You're a bully. You're a bully. You're a bully. You get Spurs fans that are asking for channels like mine to be banned and thrown off YouTube because I challenge what's going on at their football club. Tottenham fans are so shook by the pressure that they're now receiving because they've got a world-class manager. So I don't think in the board level they're going to invest enough in him. I don't think the fans of Tottenham enjoy being in the spotlight. I think they like being the very attractive bridesmaid. What they don't want to be is the bride under pressure, where all the expectation is on you. No one cares how the bridesmaids look. No one cares how the guests look. Everyone cares on the day about how the bride looks. Is the hair right? Does the dress look good? Oh, what the shoes she's wearing with it? And that's Tottenham right now. Tottenham have had a lifetime of being happy to be the bridesmaid, sitting on the side. Do you know what I'm saying? Pippa Middleton, not Kate. That's Tottenham Hotspur for you. And I think when you look at the whole package together, yes, he probably deserves a new contract. Is it the right thing to do? No, because the longer he stays, he's in trouble. And to your other point around they're still fourth. Yes, they are. But trajectory is key. Their performances are getting worse. The amount of wins they're picking up is diminishing. They are dropping down the league table. And listen, I'm tipping Spurs to drop points again this weekend.
Same.
They may even lose. And Man United, if we win, that means we go level on points with them. This was a fan base a month ago that was laughing at where Man United were. And we're having one of the worst seasons around. They said, we're a win away from catching them. And we've got a game in hand.
Yeah.
This team they're never going to deliver what Antonio Conte wants. I thought it was a good thing they did when they brought him in. I believed and I thought I listened to them and I thought they were going to change their ways. They're not. They're better off getting rid of him and bringing a manager like Poch in, who doesn't have the ability to win the major trophies at a club like Tottenham, but they'll play beautiful football and they'll all just live happily ever after.
But could you not argue, though, that let's say, as Craig said, Spurs don't go and achieve a UCL or Premier League, right, which we don't think they're going to do. If they get that Carabao Cup, does that spur them on and spur the fans on and bring belief about, oh, you know what, we can actually win something?
Because
the problem you've got now is that if you get rid of Conte, as Kaz said, you start the whole cycle again. They've tried it with Nuno. It's gonna fail. Then they're gonna get a new manager in again. Who are they going to bring in? Like, I don't know. There's no one really out there.
So
they bring someone in there. He then tries to get his players in. Is it going to work out like it did with Poch last time? So if you look at like probabilities, probably not. They're going to have to get another manager.
I'm going to cast your mind back. I think it was the 2020 Carabao Cup final when Spurs made it against City? Was that the final then?
Was that with Ryan?
Ryan
Mason was.
And then Mourinho got sacked about 3 days before it, right? So Mourinho got sacked that day and everyone turned around and thought that there was a hope that Spurs could potentially do something against Manchester City, the mighty Man City that obviously went on to win the game. Only 1-0 though. There was a chance that they could have done something. Ryan Mason comes in and instantly, no, it's not going to happen. Definitely not. That squad is still pretty much the same squad, but there's been obviously 1 or 2 additions in years gone by. There's been 1 or 2 additions that have been brought in by Conte or by Nuno or whoever. But that squad is largely still the same. So just because of having that manager with that extra edge, do you think that is now making them worth winning trophies? And I'm saying that with an S, because at the moment, as of right now, we saw Mourinho, who is undoubtedly one of the greatest managers of all time. And I know people don't like him, but I mean, he backs it up.
He is.
And he wins. And then all of a sudden, just because he's gone, the rest of the squad, no, simply not good enough. Simply not good enough. Because that's the thing. Because when you've got one of the best centre forwards in the world, and when you've got one of the best left wingers in the world, and you've got this project, I mean, you forget that it was only 2019 they made the Champions League final, you know, and they let's hold our hands up, did well to get there, fair play to them. But the reality of the situation is that for this Spurs team, as of right now, was the pinnacle. That was as high as they're going to get, because we know for a fact they're not going to get anywhere near it again. They're not going to get anywhere near winning a league title again. So why would you give Conte a new contract right now? Because this Spurs squad, which is aging, isn't going to get better unless you invest heavily. And especially after they've had to rebuild the stadium to try and improve that, the funds aren't in the club. So you might as well just try and have that little bit of a reset. Like, to be fair, Arsenal did after they built the Emirates, because you knew the money was not going to come in.
Yeah.
And now, to be fair to Arsenal, look where they are. Well, it's a long process.
The thing with Antonio Conte is he doesn't play football that Tottenham fans like. And Tottenham fans are not happy. The ones online saying, how dare you call for him to be sacked? They are lying to themselves. I don't care if they come for me, they can slag me off, they can say whatever they want. Great. I'll no sleep for me tonight because you don't like my opinion. Ooh, shiver me timbers. You will know I'm speaking the truth. And every week when there's a bad performance, every week when they drop points, more and more people open up and speak how they truly, truly feel. And there's honest Tottenham fans online. You know, we have Alan that calls in. We have Jerome part of the Terrace. You've got Expressions who says it absolutely right. You've seen their chief fan online, Jamie O'Hara, speak this week about, I'm going to look stupid continuing to defend him. And I've been there. I've been where Spurs fans are when we had Jose. I would defend him because I had to, because I was a Man United fan. But deep down inside here, I was like, it isn't. I could just tell it was never going to click and it was never going to work. This is a team, by the way, and I said it on Monday, that against every top 6 team and Newcastle that they have played this year, they've lost to. Or they got a lucky draw against Tottenham, against Chelsea. Every other one of those teams has beaten them. And in my opinion, and I know they came on strong against you in the second half, but I just still feel like they were comprehensively beaten by everybody. And that's the sign That for me is the sign. All other teams, when they were on the rise to achieving trophies and winning things, pulled off results. Even Arteta, after going through 8 and 8, there were still moments within his time there of, knocking out Liverpool and then beating City in an FA Cup final. I think that's the way around he did it. Was he knocked out Liverpool and beat City in the final, right?
Yes.
No, beat Chelsea in the final and then beat City in the
semi.
Yes.
Also, I think they beat Liverpool in the league around that same time.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is they still pulled off those results. What are Tottenham doing? And they've got to win trophies. And it kind of brings me on to another point around, we saw this week when they went out, we can focus on the league. And I know Arsenal fans kind of did the same thing as well, that we can focus on the league now as opposed to worrying about the Carabao Cup. But trophies matter, don't they?
100%.
That's why you play the game.
You told me, I know quite a few City fans now, thanks to Daps and whatnot. If you told me that they got out the Carabao Cup, none of them are going to tell me that they don't care. They do care. They love that cup. They want to win that cup. They want to win all the trophies all the time. So when people say, it's a Mickey Mouse Cup, anyways, it's not a Mickey Mouse Cup. It's another trophy. Do I agree that cup should not be in England no more? Probably, though. I think.
Oh, that's harsh.
No.
Like it.
No. You know why I don't? I think it's too many games and we get fixtures like this, congestion. Go in all the other leagues, right? There's only one domestic trophy. I think there's too many. And there's too much demand coming on, especially with all this new Super League domestic, the league. You're gonna have to play an extra 2, 3, 4 games
but
now.
But it is here, and it's an opportunity for a trophy.
Here, and we're gonna have to deal with it. But there's a reason why we get so many injuries. There's so many, but maybe it's why everyone likes to come to the Premier League.
It's not because of the League Cup, because they rotate players in the League Cup.
Yeah, but I just don't think.
But do we get? People always say this: we get more injuries. We'll come back to trophies in a minute. I can't take these sweeping statements. Show me the data analysis comparing the amount of injuries we get per club per season to our European counterparts. Like, we have to do the body of work before we make these claims. This nonsense, we play more football now than in the past, is a lie. Go back to the 90s and look at the teams that were going deep into Champions Leagues, and then look at their top players and how many games they played. It's similar to now. And the reason I can't, and it makes me actually want to explode, is the Premier League clubs are about to sign up to a brand new pre-season tournament in America where they all play each other. Now, years ago, Premier League teams wouldn't even look at each other in pre-season. Because you'd play teams, generally speaking, from the countries of which they were in. America, you play MLS teams, or you play teams, I don't know what the league's called in Australia, but you play them.
K-League.
Okay, there we go. You'd play them. Now, we have these mini tournaments. We travel tens of thousands of miles over the course of a preseason to play these tournaments for money. That's okay on the squads. That's not creating injury or fatigue. But yet you're asked to play a semi-final in the League Cup, and this is outrageous. We're gonna put these players into an early grave if we're not careful. Pre-season comes, right? We're going to go to Thailand, Australia, America, North Pole, South Pole, isn't it? And we're going to fly to the moon for a friendly that's going to be streamed on everyone's iPhones. The hypocrisy gets on my absolute nerves. Winning trophies is important. We have the opportunity in England to win 4 a season. This nonsense that fans don't want to win them, or I want to save myself for this. That's not what the great teams do.
You say, and I'm speaking from a Liverpool fan's perspective, you say that when you're not involved in them and when you can't go and compete on all fronts. But now that Liverpool went and obviously won the FA Cup, won the Carabao Cup, I want to retain them again. Like, forget the league. I know the league's done, but I'm still like, no, look, we've got to retain those cups. Before, when Klopp was rotating and putting out the kids against Aston Villa because we had fixture pile up, I was just like, yeah, I don't care about that cup. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I didn't have an affinity with it. But as Kaz said, once you start winning these cups, you want to win them more and more. It's like Daps and a lot of City fans, they talk about the Champions League like that. They're like, yeah, I mean, if we win the Champions League, great, but it's not our priority. Our priority is the Premier League. And if we don't win it, it's okay. But it's only now, it's only after they actually went and the way they went out to Chelsea that they've actually said, you know what, this is closer to home now. We've got an affinity with this because we had no history in the Champions League before. Now we're going to go and try challenge. Before that, every time they left the Champions League, they didn't care because they just go and win the Premier League, win the Carabao Cup, FA Cup as well. And it's always...
It's about standards. I think I want to say it was Bernardo Silva. It might have been David Silva. I think it was one of the Silvas at City who basically said they want the players to put more pressure on the players to win it. There has to be. And one of the reasons why I knew Liverpool were going to beat Tottenham in the Champions League final back in 2019 was because the way the fans reacted. Liverpool were like, come on, chance to make it number 6. Chance to go 3 clear of Man United. Be more than doubly as good in the Champions League than any other English team. Plus, to close the gap on Real Madrid. And that's what Liverpool have a dream as a football club to have the most Champions Leagues, the most FA Cups, the most league titles, the most League Cups. If you had the most of all those things, you are by far the greatest team England's ever produced, and you're already one of the best in Europe, but you want to win that as well. That's what the elite clubs want. I kind of get it. If you're a relegation-stricken team and staying in the Premier League is do or die for you, you might think, I'd love a cup run, but staying in the Premier League, because Premier League TV money for some football clubs is worth more money than they may have turned over in the last 5 years, 6 years combined being in the Championship. So for a lot of clubs, like I remember listening to someone at Burnley speak, the reason they didn't spend a lot is they saved a lot of the money. The reason they saved a lot of the money is because they looked at every year in the Premier League, kept their club alive for half a decade. So for them, it was like a survival mechanism to be here. But when you're a team that's owned by billionaires that makes 400, 500, 600 million pounds a year in turnover, this like, oh, I've got to prioritize. No, like you've got to try and win these tournaments. And this notion of I'm happy to go out, I don't believe anybody in their heart of heart really is happy to go out. It's just an excuse mechanism that fans have created so that when they go out, the banter falls. It's like a Teflon sheet. Oh, I don't, it doesn't hurt me. I didn't mind going out in the first place. For me, it's a nonsense. I want to win every game and every tournament I'm in. And of course, winning the League Cup or going out of the League Cup wouldn't hurt like going out of the Champions League or losing the League Cup final didn't hurt me like losing Champions League finals. But I still want to win the damn thing.
You know what as well? Like we got to forget. I kind of forget as well. Like we always talk about the top 6 clubs, what it means for us, but there's the other clubs as well that want that dream of winning the Carabao Cup as well. Do you get what I mean? So that's what we do. We have to remember that's their bread and butter, mate. People in the lower leagues can't wait to play in the Carabao Cups against the bigger teams. Do you get what I mean?
But I think just going back to Tottenham's point, though, that's why I'm still saying Conte should get the contract, because as Terry said, they haven't got the history of winning anything. So for them, I don't see a manager out there, bar maybe Mourinho, that guarantees you trophies more than Conte potentially.
Yeah,
of course, on a consistent level, we've got Pep and Klopp, but out there, really, that's really attainable.
I did ask this because if what you're telling me is you have to keep Conte around because he can get you a Carabao Cup, and if he gets you that, it's the most amazing thing in the world. Do we overestimate Spurs as a football club?
Yes, this is my point. So the reason I say this is because the quality that Spurs have got in that squad, individual players, is good enough to go and win. If you put Kane, there was a reason that Man City bid for Harry Kane last year because they thought he was a final piece of the puzzle and would go and win in the league and probably multiple leagues in years to come. Same thing with Son Heung-min. He's been constantly linked to Real Madrid. I don't think he's going to end up there, but still there's a reason why they would want to add him because he is the quality player that Spurs have got. The rest of the squad is not good enough. Do we believe that it's going to be good enough by the time that Conte finishes this next contract that we would assume is 3 years down the line? Because if it's not good enough, there's no point of paying that massive amount of money.
Quickly, I think KJ's question, I don't think it's overestimating how good these individual players are. I think KJ's question was overestimating the size of Tottenham Football Club.
I completely agree.
It depends where you're rating Tottenham, though. Because I'm not rating them on the level of Liverpool, United, and City.
They're a million miles away from you.
It's a shame those Spurs fans turned up tonight. Hi, Patrick. Because they could be here to defend themselves. But they're not on the level of the rest of us. This is a football club. When did they last? Someone just Google quickly when they last won a league title.
1960.
Yeah, 1960. I'm pretty sure.
1960. Think of what's happened since they last won a league title. The Queen.
62 years ago.
The Queen was crowned. She got married. Actually, she was already married. Had kids. Did all them jubilees. Passed on, and they still ain't won one. Like they're not on the level. Look, Tottenham. They went through this period when Man United and Arsenal dropped off. Terrible way the club was being run. They came to the forefront and they made it into the Champions League. They were a team. They're like Newcastle in the 90s. Couple of challenges, finished in the Champions League a little bit, but did nothing. And the ironic thing is, this is how insignificant Tottenham have been so far. When you speak to young'uns now about Newcastle, they have no idea that Newcastle in the mid-90s were a team that challenged and felt massive in English football. In 20 years' time, no one's going to remember Poch's Tottenham team, Conte's Tottenham team. And do you know why? Because they don't win anything. The only person in this Tottenham setup that will be remembered will probably be Kane, and that'll be for the amount of goals. People will look at the list and go, oh, who's this guy that scored loads of goals? Yeah, it was Harry Kane. That's it. There's going to be very few outside of Tottenham memories, replays shown, classic games shown that led to Spurs creating genuine history and legacy. That's why when I see them disregard a Carabao Cup, I do think, who the hell do you think you are to discount these trophies? It's ridiculous. Honestly, it's an abomination to me. Potts even did it when he was there. Winning trophies is an ego thing. We're aiming for bigger than Carabao Cups and League Cups. What are you talking? An FA Cup. What are you talking about?
But that's my point. But that's why I'm saying that in regards to them, when you're looking at the manager. Conte is probably your best bet to go and get a Carabao Cup because you bring in someone else.
Oh no,
pick a name out. The same thing they did against Potts.
I don't deny that, but the thing that I will say about this is it's not about Conte. He is definitely the right man to go and do that for Spurs. Spurs have to identify whether they think they're a club that can go and do more. That's where the problem lies. And again, that's why I go with Terry's point.
Totally agree. Look, Son, a Spurs fan here says Son for his Korean legacy. Yeah, look, Son within the in Korea, Son will probably be remembered forever.
Yep.
In the Tottenham fan base, you'll remember him forever. But there's a difference between a Tottenham legacy and a footballing legacy. If you turn around to a lot of kids, a lot of youngsters now, and said the word Nobby Solano, they would go, who? Because he didn't. But if he was part of a team that won 3 or 4 Prems, and his picture was still everywhere, video footage of those moments was still everywhere and shown regularly, they would know who he is. That's the difference between the legacies. And I don't mean it to sound horrible against Tottenham, but winning trophies is the only thing that creates it. And unless you're going to take them seriously, then, when you're taking off Harry Kane with 20 minutes to go when you're losing in a cup knockout game, that for me is a terrible, terrible message. Now, viewers, do me a big favor and smash the like button. More talking points on the way. Make sure you're getting yourself signed up to NordVPN by scanning that QR code on the screen right about now. Now, before we move on to Arsenal and Chelsea, sort of big talking points on the show today. Man United travel to Fulham on Sunday, 4:30 kickoff. What are you saying, Kaz? Nervous about this one, or do you think we'll get the job done?
No, we're winning. We're winning.
No.
Don't do that. Look,
Whoa.
none of you want to give us credit for bouncing back against Villa the way we did. They played.
The fact you had to bounce back was the problem.
Yo, look.
Literally 1 week ago today, you came with this exact kind of energy, and you were embarrassed by.
Don't let me
Good
get
evening.
the Somali up. Anyways, let me tell you now, we bounced back, and you could say that was Villa's pretty much full squad, full-blown team as well. Konza, they had to bring up, I suppose, Mings, whatever. That's why I say when Mings is in playing, you've always got a chance. Anyways, we bounced back nicely. We done what we ever had to do. Now, Fulham don't have no Mitrovic, no Harrison Reed, and also don't have no Tete. So that's 3 major players in their team gone. We might not have no Anthony. He might be on the bench. I think I got a feeling he's staying out due to the World Cup. I think he's just got those fears. I think a lot of those players do. But I think our squad can now come back fresh. Casemiro had a lot of rest. Eriksen had a bit of rest. Bruno's just come back. And Garnacho's looking quite good. I wouldn't overuse him, though. Don't just start him all the time. Don't overuse a youngster. He's playing well at the moment. But there's no reason why that
What's
Man
to say
United
the performance you did a week ago couldn't repeat itself again against Fulham? Because you should be beating Aston Villa, right? And you should be beating Fulham.
No,
as a club like Man United. But when you're seeing the squad,
because I'm not one of those United fans that are going to go and overreact because we lost against Villa. Wait, we got beat fair and square. We got it wrong. Ten Hag corrected himself, and now we should go back with better personnel, a bit more fresh against the Fulham side, who are doing well this season, by the way. But when you don't have your main man Mitrovic up front, you're missing a very decent right back, and Harrison Reed, who provides a lot of energy.
Yeah, they are depleted.
That's a lot of big misses. That's a lot of big misses compared to our big misses as well.
I think United should be beating Fulham.
Yeah,
but what I'm asking you is that
I'm allowed to be confident.
No one's saying you're not. I'm saying Man United should be beating Fulham. That's a fact. But I don't think my issue with United this season, it's not even a problem because Ten Hag's just come in. It's no slight on United. But when you lost to Villa in the league, you didn't it was pathetic, really. To be honest,
we gave them those goals.
So why can't you do that against Fulham?
Because what we mean why? I've just kind of told you why.
No. But I don't want to hear it from a Fulham perspective. I just told you we got personnel that are back and they're more fresh. Yes or no? That's why we can beat Fulham too. So is that why you're blaming that you didn't beat Villa?
Fulham don't have a cutting edge in terms of scoring goals compared to what Villa has in terms of quality.
But didn't you say last week that you can only score a goal a game?
Yeah, but
do you not both are lacking a cutting edge? So
I didn't say a goal a game. I said we had the ability to score a couple goals. And in one half, you see us smack Villa by 4.
No.
Yeah, but the fact you went behind was the problem.
Yeah, and we came back.
That's because Maguire started.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it.
I just like this is at the end of the day, this is United, and away form is away form. We don't look always great on the road, but against a Fulham side who don't look that great defensively, do look better when going forward. But when you don't have your main man in Mitrovic, and we're getting our way back in Marcel and so forth, I'm gonna be more than confident than ever.
I think you should be, but I'm just bringing this argument to you because last week you were just as confident.
Yeah,
and
because
it didn't turn out very well. It didn't turn out very well.
Like yourself, though,
Didn't
my
turn out very
confidence
well.
is warranted. Like I'm allowed to be confident. You're not allowed to be
1 week
confident.
ago.
You're not allowed to be confident.
I'm not confident.
Do you get the difference?
Just to clarify,
I'm just gonna say that.
when Kaz said you're not allowed, he was pointing at JJ, not Colleen, who he's talking to. Just so everyone knows.
Yeah,
as an Arsenal fan, they got around me.
You can't sit and tell me you're gonna definitely beat Southampton. Most majority of your
I can't say here you're gonna definitely go and beat Fulham.
I'm allowed the more confidence.
Based on what?
Based off of form and
History
everything
or what?
else.
Or
Off of form currently at the moment.
What?
Same
Off a
with you
Carabao
boys.
Cup
I don't even know
victory?
when your next goal's gonna come out. I'm gonna be honest.
Neither do I.
Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm going off. I'm allowed to have confidence against Fulham. Like last week, I'm allowed.
No,
Yeah,
you're
nine
allowed.
games.
You're allowed. Technically, like on paper, you should have confidence.
No,
Saying that you're allowed to have
when you got
confidence.
9 games unbeaten at that point last week against Villa, of course I'm gonna have confidence.
But you're not
Like,
now.
Who's not gonna
You're
have
not now, and
confidence?
to go and suggest that Man United can't have stuttering form in there with
mate.
under Ten Hag in his first season. That's madness.
But
You're not gonna-
in a cup game where he won fantastic with Harry Maguire with 4-2 and stuff and whatnot. Yeah, I'm allowed to have a bit more. If we lost that game, we were having a totally different conversation right now.
But it's a League Cup.
I don't say it's just a League Cup just because you win it.
Hang on a minute.
Oh no, it's a
It's a
League Cup.
Premier League game.
Oh,
No, I'm sorry.
Hang on. But we played a Premier League team.
that paid their full side.
Yeah, I'm not denying
Other
that.
than
That's
Matty Cash.
absolutely fine. I'm not denying that. And again, you should be confident of going and beating Fulham.
Of course.
You should
It's
be.
Fulham.
So what's the issue with being confident then?
No, I've not got an issue with being confident.
Yes, you have, because you're talking.
No, I haven't got an issue with being confident. All I'm saying is there is a chance that Fulham do turn up.
A smaller
confidence-
chance.
No, the confidence can be there, but then there is also overconfidence, and
Alright,
that's
let
what
me-
happened last week.
No,
That's
so
what
I
I'm
guess
saying.
and guess what this is. Let me put out there for the camera. Yeah, anyone that knows me, yeah, I'm gonna be shameless week by week, and there's nothing that's gonna change that. It's literally pay as you go, and that's what it's gonna be. So next time you come up against the next ones, which are Forest, Bournemouth, the next home games, and so forth, and Wolves, I'm gonna come back on here, and guess what? I'm gonna be just as shameless and just as confident. And there's nothing you lot,
Even after
all
2
you lot-
losses.
after all you lot can't do nothing about it.
No, but if
he were to.
hypothetically, if there was to be 2 losses, would you?
Yeah,
Did you?
Yeah, but I can't see it. And I can't see that. And
Yeah, but
especially
you
against Fulham.
couldn't-
You
you
think
couldn't
about
say-
it. So
you
wait,
couldn't say
wait,
last
wait.
week,
So the same
so-
way when we're talking about Tottenham and the way they played against whoever they just lost to, Nottingham Forest, and you lot were saying, but it's just the League Cup, right?
Question to challenging Kaz. Do you think Fulham are going to beat Man United this weekend?
No,
No.
I actually expect United to win. The only caveat I've got though is because it's the World Cup. A lot of these players that are going to be going to that World Cup
Tell me
now,
the players that are gonna
I love
go to the
Virgil
World
van Dijk when he went and spoke on the overlap. He mentioned saying, I'd get a lot of players, one game, the last game of the season. Are they even going to be up for it? That suggests to me players are talking
Yeah.
and looking and
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
I'm not going to go 100%.
But
Now
Joe,
at
that's
Fulham,
my fear. That's my fear.
Fulham at Man United is a final for them. So Andres Pereira is going to want to go and prove a point. There's certain players that are going to.
I agree with you. That's I agree that we should be with you, Kaz, that we should look at this game and be confident we can beat them. On paper, yes. However, if we have 2, 3, 4 players that are thinking, I don't want to go into that tackle because I don't want a knock, because it isn't even a bad injury. A bad injury is a bad injury. If you get a bad injury in March, you miss the World Cup.
Yeah.
But you could get a knock. You could pull a hamstring sprint in it and be out for 2 weeks and you miss the World Cup. And that's in their minds. I think as long as we don't allow that to seep into our play, we should be able to. We should be able to beat them.
But how do you not allow that?
No,
Terry?
again, it depends on the players, and I say that. But then we played a cup game last night, which is only 3 days difference, right? So there's no difference between.
And I saw Malacia go mad.
There's no difference between last night and playing Saturday or Sunday for me. If a player snapped his hamstring last night, he ain't going World Cup either, and we were up for that fight. If we match that intensity, and by the way, we didn't have much intensity away at Villa, and this is the talking point we haven't come up with yet. The reason I'm more confident is it looks like Ronaldo's not involved. And people think I'm joking and I'm trolling him. If you go back and look at United, we got beat by City comprehensively. If you look at the games that came after that, the football started to improve, started to dominate games, started scoring goals. That the best performance we then got, Spurs, he was on the bench. Sensational. He then got dropped from the whole squad for walking away. We played against Chelsea. I haven't seen us dominate the ball away at Stamford Bridge like that in such a long time. Sensational. We then, after that, the next 4-5 games on the bounce, Ronaldo started, barely scoring goals, and it ended with us getting battered. We come back last night. The first half, the tactic worked in the first half. We just didn't execute these balls to beat the mid-block. Second half began, and we conceded the goal against a run of play, really. It was a mistake from Maguire in the middle.
Was that a handball, by the way? I couldn't see it.
It was, but we made a mistake in the middle. And then, but we responded, and the tactic we used in the first half, we pulled off the right ball, we went in and scored. We then conceded again, an own goal that people like rave about it. Leon Bailey headed the ball down. No one was in the middle. No one was there. Delow stupidly touched it and it went in. And then we went up another level. But the way we played, the way we moved the ball, the speed, the press, we can't do with Ronaldo. So as long as we don't pick Ronaldo, I'm more than confident this team will put in the energy and the effort needed to win. We just can't. I love Ronaldo so much, but the geezer's just finished. He's absolutely finished.
Can I ask this question? Because I think this is a really good point. And again, we're talking about silverware. The game against Villa was a knockout game. If you don't go through, that is your chance at winning the trophy gone. With a league, you can make up those 3 points. You can put in a really big performance and maybe get something out of nothing, or you go and it's a little bit different with teams at the top. But let's say Man United go and beat Arsenal at the Emirates or whatever. You know, weren't necessarily expecting to get that 3 points. They're the 3 points we've got back, and we've kind of made up for it. With, you know, you said there's no difference between the 3 days between the last night and then Saturday. Did you play Saturday? Sunday. So there's no difference between it. But is there a difference in intensity?
So
because that's another thing altogether.
But I do assume we're going to be applying this to everyone's team this weekend.
Yeah, no, completely.
It's not just Man United that have got players going to the World Cup. But that's the only argument you guys have got. And I get that as an argument, and I agree with it. But outside of that, because let's not do that argument to death, I think it's been made. I think Man United got a very good chance. I'm more concerned about starting Ronaldo than the World Cup in lack of intensity, or the fact that we love. No, I can't see him starting.
Ten Hag's comments, especially Ten Hag's comments about Martial. If you go read them,
and I don't even think Ronaldo's ill. I think he's told Ronaldo again, look, you've had 5 games and nothing's improved.
I think it was done. I think it was done.
Maybe.
I think the club and Ronaldo's doing his fanboy stuff, like as you do. He's big. He's CR7. I think the club and him already had a discussion and say, go find a new club in January, or we can possibly work out. I think it's done already. I'll be honest.
He's saving himself for the World Cup. Let's be honest here. Like, the World Cup's around the corner. My man's flipping 37, 38.
His World Cup, he's retiring.
You know what I mean? Like, he is waiting to go to the World Cup, and that's why you're not seeing him.
To be fair, think of the absolute moolah he's going to make. Let's just say hypothetically, Portugal win the World Cup in Qatar, and he retires a legend of the game with a World Cup. Maybe a lot of people say he's better than Lionel Messi because Lionel Messi hasn't got one and he has. But then to do it in Qatar as well, that have got serious bags behind him, he'll be a legend in that country for the rest of his life. He's going to be getting paid forever.
Yeah, listen, either which way round, we're nearly, a lot of people don't like Ronaldo being disrespected, but from my point of view, I'm not disrespecting him. I'm putting my club first. Score predictions, people. I'm going to go with mine for this game, and I'm going to go 3-1 to Manchester United.
Is that Craven Cottage, right?
Yes. 3-1 to Manchester United is my score prediction. Viewers, I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think and feel. Make sure like buttons are being smashed as well, people. Get that done right about now. I'm going to go to JJ and Colleen first. So after all that, they predict a United win.
No. I just had to make a point because last week you guys were a little bit too happy over it.
It's the over positive. It's the over positive perspective.
It's the
waffle with a bit of cream, a little bit of fruit, a little bit of waffle there. Let's go to the boys over here. Let's go to Craigo and Kaz.
Can you see that?
3-1 from you as well. You've gone for 1-1, Craigo.
I have, yeah. I do think that this World Cup pull is going to be a massive factor, and I think that certain Man United players may not show everything that they've got.
When you got Lisandro Martinez and all that in the team, and after that Aston Villa performance, I just can't see them worrying about this because I just think Ten Hag's good. Whatever he's got going on, I just believe in it as a Man United fan, and only us United fans can feel it, and that's it.
There we go. We've got some super chats here to do. The first one says, JJ, please don't flirt too much with my girl, Colleen.
I can't fart. By the way, I haven't looked at it. Is that I can't fart?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
Bringing me to Qatar, not for $5.99.
Knew it.
Not for $5.99.
Not for $5.99.
Remember, the bidding for Colleen starts at $44.99.
Yes.
That's
euros as well. That's euros.
Yeah.
You're a Terry Tate over there. Oh,
And by the way, that is not, I didn't set that price. The young lady did herself. So just to be clear that up. Dan Byrne from Newcastle should have been called up to
Oh,
England.
that's a good shout.
Yeah,
I like that.
He's done well. He's done very, very well, no doubt. Kaz, my Dutch brother, we are winning. So he is Dutch, this guy, by the way. You and him are brothers.
There we go, man.
There
See,
we-
I had also knew that it was you that talked about Colleen, man. It's that Dutch connection.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, are you saying you've been talking about Colleen as well?
No, I just
Great
knew
minds
it.
think, Dutch minds think
I
alike.
mean,
I've got one here. Maybe you two could take her out and go double Dutch.
Oi.
Moving
Bad
swiftly
jokes.
on. Moving swiftly on.
I mean, I've already
double,
bidded.
just for the kids that are going, oh my God, double Dutch means like a double date and you split the bill. It's nothing. There's no innuendo in there at all. It's about splitting the bill.
Jesus Christ.
Splitting the
That's
bill.
blasphemy.
What about the rumours that
KJ don't have it.
Manchester City might get Arteta after Pep? Thoughts? We'll come back to that a little bit later. We'll save that one. We'll save that one for later. Without Romero, that back line is average. Talking about Tottenham, that is true.
Even with Romero's average.
No, Romero's good, man.
No. Even with he
Romero's
said the back
good.
line, even with Romero, that back line is still average. It's got Eric Dyer and Lenglet in it.
I get you. Did anyone see Argentina's World Cup squad just fire? Just fire. Oh, fire! It's fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
You're not getting the sack.
No. Yard. Imagine that. Who sacked Yard? I don't know. I haven't seen it personally. I haven't seen it. I know that young Alejandro Garnacho is not in it, and I'm very glad about that. I wish no Man United player was going to the World Cup. To be honest, I'm very selfish. Terry and Kaz are definitely brothers.
Oh, it's Olu. Oh, this guy, man, he loves it.
I mean, why? I mean, what is it about us that is similar?
It's because we're
You-
white.
Wyatt.
Yeah,
That's
you're,
it.
you're
That is
white and have a
literally-
beard.
And blue eyes. You got blue eyes. Blue eyes.
man,
green
same,
eyes. I've
bro.
got green eyes.
Oh, my dad's got green eyes as well.
I've got green eyes. Oh.
Oh.
Was your dad in Leighton in 1984? was he the Oliver
You're old
Cromwell
enough to
state?
be my dad, I think.
I'm probably old enough to be. Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm an old man. I'm an old man. No grey yet, though. I'm very, very happy about that. As you know, we're sponsored by NordVPN. Make sure you get it downloaded. One, for protecting yourself, protecting your devices from hacking. But I keep saying this to people. And last week, I'm not going to lie, I had about 400 DMs from people that wanted my workaround, because you have to put a few workarounds in play to stream the Premier League, the UFC, and whatever else from different parts of the world. There are a few workarounds. For instance, I had to set up an Apple account in the States and put my credit card on there so I could take the payment for Peacock. It wouldn't let you do it from the UK one. But if you want a breakdown of how to get these things working, and the best thing I've done, by the way, is shopping. Amazon, cheapy cheap. When you set your location elsewhere, set your location in Turkey. I've set my location in Moldova, set my location in India. I had to buy 5 of these new mics. I told you last week, £20 off each of them. So there's lots of little, I'm going to use a pun here, hacks to life when you're using NordVPN. Drop me a DM on Twitter and I can break them down for you and whatever else. But get it done now. Save yourselves lots of money whilst protecting yourself at the same time. Now, top of the league right now are my second favourite team in England at the moment, Arsenal. Top of the league. Question is, will they stay top this weekend? And are they going to win the league? Jack Wilshere has come out and stated that he thinks they are good enough to do it. And I've been waiting for some Arsenal pundits to really speak their mind on this. So the question is, and we won't go to Colleen first on this because we know what she thinks. We'll go to Craigo and Kaz. Are they winning this weekend? And can they win this league?
I don't even know. Who have you got this weekend?
Wolves.
Yeah, you're smashing them.
Yeah,
You're smashing them. Is it at Wolves?
Is it,
Well,
yeah.
Is that Wolves? Yeah, they ain't got no new manager yet up there either.
Has he not
Isn't
been
Lopez-
signed?
he has
It's been
signed, I don't
signed.
know if it takes-
Look,
Yeah.
Manager bounce. Oh,
No.
okay. And is
We're
that
not
Wolves?
Man United,
wait, no,
unfortunately.
don't do this.
Oh.
Because your performance ain't been that great. Let's be honest. Wolves manager bounce, collective. I think this might be.
No.
No, I didn't even know this. And he's a good manager, by the way. He used to manage Sevilla.
Outright.
That geezer.
He's a very good manager. I rate him.
You don't end up being the Spanish national team manager, Real Madrid manager, Sevilla manager without doing.
But Wolves ain't got bad players though. No, you should beat them, and I think you will beat them. But I think it'll be a tougher match than it would have been if he wasn't obviously manager. Do you get what I mean? Because you didn't even play none of your players really in the Carabao Cup, so I think they're going to be fresh.
The interesting thing about this, to be fair, something that Wolves might have a chance with is that when you study for an opponent, you look at the film, you look at the tactics, you look at all these things, and start to work it out. You've got none of that on Wolves. You know who individual good players are, but you don't know how they're going to play. You don't know how they're going to line up. You don't know who's going to start. You have not got a clue what is coming at you. Do I think Arsenal are still good enough to go and beat Wolves? Yeah, I do. And I still think they will. But that's another problem that you've got to overcome. And it'll be a good one, actually, for Arteta to prove that he can do that.
You forgot something. Jesus. Oh, let's just put this factor back in. Jesus going to the World Cup. Xhaka's going to the World Cup. Saka's going to the World Cup. A lot of these players might be thinking in their minds that what if they don't go into this tackle because they might get injured?
To be fair, that Arsenal are the sort of team that would go and get the result done in the first half hour.
Did Martinelli get to the World Cup as well? Oh my word, he don't want to get injured. He's injury prone, isn't he? Oh, there we go. I don't know if you're going to really do it this week.
That wasn't the argument I gave against you. My argument was that you were too cocky last.
Same energy.
It's the same energy. The argument I said absolutely nothing about the World Cup. Actually, I did say...
It's on your table. Whatever comes from that table is there.
I still agree with the argument, but my argument was that you were too cocky last week.
I'm allowed to.
We're not going to go back down that road again.
Well, I can see why you're being pessimistic.
We're useless. I know that.
But
I've known it for a while.
I agree. I think everyone's going to have that same challenge around the whole World Cup and the players. And most of our first 11, barring like one or two, are not going. So it'll be interesting. But I don't think. I don't think Arteta will take that mentality to for you. I think he would rip them to shreds at half time if he thought that was the case.
The reason, I'm just going to jump in. The reason, again, that I said about that game for Aston Villa and whatever is because this is an opportunity to win a piece of silverware. That 3 points that you could potentially lose could be the thing that stops all these players that are going to the World Cup from winning a trophy this season. If you miss out by 3 points and you absolutely kick yourself, you will look at it and go, could have put in more at Wolves. And that's why I don't think Arsenal are going to drop.
I think that game's massive. I think that game's massive because if you don't win that game and City do, you're after the World Cup, you guys are coming back knowing
got work to do,
and you haven't been in a position yet where you're chasing. You've been the pace setters. When you got a chase, it's completely different. And I'm speaking from experience. Also, it's City when you're chasing. A lot of the time you come out. Do you know what I mean? Second best.
Not only are you chasing Man City, but you're chasing a fully fit, fully rested Erling Haaland, who's scoring goals for fun. I don't think that's something Arsenal can afford to let to just let be gone. I just don't think that is.
I think even if you get like a 1-0, like a scrappy 1-0 win, it'll be massive.
Everyone would take
after the World Cup,
get the result, and that's what Arsenal will focus on, and that's what they should.
Well, when do Arsenal play Man City for the first?
We play them twice, quite close together because it was
at the end of the season, when the business end of the season.
Is it the end of the? Is it in April?
End of the season, I think.
Is it April? When is it? Is it April? I don't know when it is, but I know both of them are like 2 weeks apart, home and away. Like there's not a big difference between them when it got rescheduled.
This is a question for you, Colin. Do you think this Arsenal team actually can keep up the momentum after the World Cup?
Not if they got hunger.
In my heart of hearts, I think if between Arsenal and Man City, I think Arsenal are more likely to drop more points than them. I think if we do any business in January in terms of like a midfielder or a winger, then I'd be much more confident than I'm feeling now. But I don't want to say that and discredit the boys because so far they've done fabulous to even get themselves in this position and keep up the pace so far. So I don't want to discredit them, but at the same time, I'm thinking I can't say 100%. If we did business in January, I'd feel more confident.
The Congo is not getting you over the line. I think you get Tielemans in January. I think that's very attainable.
Lokonga doesn't even start in the Prem though. Lokonga's awful. He's awful. Lokonga.
I personally,
but you're not going to discredit them.
No, I personally think the World Cup's actually a blessing for Arsenal. And the reason why that is because I've seen it from a Liverpool perspective this season. When you go into a different tournament, so us in the Champions League, we have a different mindset. And it's like the players look at the whole, playing football from a different perspective. And they're like, oh, okay, it's like we get a break mentally at least. This league's been like, this run's been tough for Arsenal. They've never been in that situation. And they've stood up to the challenge. After that World Cup, they're actually going to come back refreshed. I think that's another reason why that victory is vital. If you don't get that victory, I think I do think you're going to start to crumble away because naturally you haven't been in that situation yet.
We know Arsenal are going to drop points after a Europa League game. We just know it's going to happen. And if you're competing against Man City, who to be fair, even when they lost out to you, they pretty much were perfect all year long. You know, they've been perfect for pretty much 5 years now. If you've got to be perfect yourself, you cannot afford to drop points to Wolves. It's that simple. And Arteta knows that.
Yeah, he's been talking about it in the last couple of weeks. He was like, we need to get the World Cup being top. Yep. So, yeah, this
weekend's massively important for us. It's the thing about this weekend, which hasn't really been discussed. I've watched a lot of other channels this week and pundits. It isn't just the 3 points. That's, of course, the most important thing. But in my understanding, barring COVID times, because the season got suspended, there's never been a mid-season break like this. Not in my lifetime anyway. You lose this weekend. It isn't just that we're not top, or Chelsea's point of view, which we'll get onto, with another 3 points away from the top 4. You've got to wait 6 weeks before making a response. And I was talking to a journalist today who had a private conversation with a few managers this week, and they're really worried because there's quite a few teams who have got, on paper, easy games when they return. But a lot of those squads don't have players at the World Cup. So they're going to have a mini preseason, warm weather training. They're going to have a few friendlies against other clubs, and they're going to be ready to go. A lot of our clubs, when you come back after that World Cup, it's going to be right. You're back, you've had a week's break, a bit of training, bang, straight into an intense game and the festive period. So I think for me, that makes it so important for even more than the 3 points. I said the 3 points are the most important thing. I don't know if it is. I think the mentality of going to that World Cup game, we are top. Mentality is so key in football, planting those seeds of positivity. And Arsenal, for me, are in this title race. Arsenal, for me, can win this league. It's going to be hard because Man City are so good. They're so consistent. They're so formidable in these moments. But I've just got a feeling that this Arsenal team is going to do maybe, I don't want to call it a Leicester because you're such a big club in comparison to Leicester. You're such a big club in comparison to them. But I sort of look at it along the lines of, I just think you're gonna stay the course, and I've just got a feeling you win your next couple of games, including this one, and I believe you'll win. I believe you'll win the league. City to me have looked more vulnerable than Arsenal this year. They have. As soon as Haaland, people go on about like, oh, what if Arsenal lose Gabriel Jesus? Listen, I've watched City a few times recently without Haaland. Without him, they're not very, they don't have the cutting edge. They don't have the killer instinct up front because Raheem Sterling was a big goal scorer. He's gone. Mahrez, I know he scored the other night for a great free kick, but he hasn't been his scintillating best. They've got a lot of techie footballers, but have they got killers? Have they got out and out goal scorers? They won that game against, who are they playing? Was it Fulham? They won that game against Fulham. And yes, for me, it was a penalty. They won that by the skin of their teeth. They're susceptible. They're not weak by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm putting them into the confines of a title race. So I'm not comparing them to a mid-table team. I'm comparing them to Arsenal. And I think they have a slight edge over Arsenal. But if Arsenal can win a few more games and keep them at bay, I think you really could win this Premier League title. But this weekend against Wolves, tomorrow night, it's so important to get those 3 points. And your players, they need to forget about that World Cup. They have to forget about the World Cup, and it's got to be full steam ahead Premier League. Because can any of your players, well, the Brazilians probably could win the World Cup, but a lot of them are going away with nations that are probably not going to win it. So this is your chance of glory. Take it.
Yeah. I agree. It's massive.
Kaz, do you actually think Arsenal can win the league?
No.
Why? Is it okay?
Not.
Is it because City are too good or because Arsenal can't do it?
No, they won't do it. Like you say, like Tottenham don't really win trophies. They're not used to it. Arsenal are not exactly used to winning leagues, are they? Don't give me the Leicester stuff either.
Arsenal football
Your squad
club
is just not good enough to win the league. Like when people don't understand, this is just half the season. We'd be shameless. I get it. I don't mind. Like if I'm in your position right now, Colleen, I'll be thinking exactly the same thing. Man United.
No, I hear you, but
do you know what I mean? But
you're not used to winning trophies.
Don't give me 20 years ago nearly or whatever it was, 17 years ago.
As in when we won
17
it's been a long time since we last won the league, but don't put us in that kind of category.
I don't
to be fair, it's been a while since you last won the league, actually.
A lot more recent than them. Anyways,
doesn't
No,
feel.
I'm
To be honest, it doesn't feel like it.
Why is it deflecting back to my team? We're talking about Arsenal, and I don't think you lot understand the beast of Man City at the business end of the season, and we all know Arsenal fully well when it does come to that part. Not in exactly great form either. Like typically, you always do drop points, and that's where Man City won't drop points. When it comes to them, all the men are going to be on it.
Are you sure you're a Man United fan?
No, because
you give
it's
City a lot of prop. I have to be honest.
Because how you ever meant to give City? Because you just told me, not you exactly. I think you did, JJ. Would you not say that they've just been perfect for like the last 5 years?
No, that was me.
Or was it you?
No, they have been.
It was perfect for 5 years, which they have been, and they do it time and time again. They're about to win what? This season, what would it be? 4 Premier League trophies in 5 seasons.
Yeah, 4 and
That's
5.
mental,
I
mate.
think with
How can you
Arsenal, I
discredit
think
that?
they only look. They've been playing ridiculously well. I think they could actually go far. My problem is with that in that team. Who's the game winner? You know, like who's the De Bruyne on the back end of the season?
Yep.
Like went and got them the goals on the back end. When we won the league, it was Mane coming clutch. Who's clutch in that Arsenal team? And that's actually a question because when I look at it, it's a team performance that's doing so well. And I know the team's going to be the most important thing. But when it comes to crunch time, Gabriel Jesus, Saka, is he going to be the one that 3 games in a row is going to be the one that's the difference maker in a tight game when
that's what I mean.
got a couple injuries at the back and that type of
I'm going to go a little bit further with that as well. Is if you're challenging on 2 fronts, which you should be with the Europa League and then the Premier League as well, it's not only about doing it, 3 games back to back to back. It's about doing it it's about doing it twice a week, multiple weeks back to back to back to back to back. So I do agree. I'm not sure Arsenal have that player, or if they do have it, they haven't made themselves known yet.
That's why I'm kind of pointing towards the January transfer window. And also I'm saying, when you're saying this clutch player, I kind of agree, but I'm also thinking, I think with this young squad that's now kind of emerged out of nowhere, let's see who makes a name for themselves. Let's see. I think it might not have arrived yet, but let's see.
You've met your target this season already, and that's the best.
No, our target is to win a trophy.
The best thing, but I think you lot got something great with the FA Cup. I think that's probably something you will be eyeing up.
Trophy.
But you've said something there, Kaz, I think so important about Arsenal. They will make the Champions League.
Yeah,
the reason that I say that is when it comes to making predictions, yes, you can have feelings, but predictions generally have to be based on what you see and what you know. And at no point in the Premier League has a team had this many points after 13 games and not finished inside the top 4. And I get in the early stages of the Premier League, top 4 didn't mean Champions League, but they still didn't drop down that far. So you are guaranteed, as far as I'm concerned, a Champions League position, which means you've met your season target after 13 games, which is phenomenal from Arsenal's point of view. Winning it is a bonus. So I don't know. And if Arteta is smart in the way in which he speaks to the players, there's almost an element of keep them hungry, keep them fighting, keep them pushing, but enjoy it because you're not expected to win. I think the City are the ones under pressure. People are trying, rival fans especially, are trying to create this pressure on Arsenal that you have to win it now to be successful. If you don't win it now, banter. How is it? There is no banter on Arsenal for not winning this because they've superseded their pre-season targets already. You should be able to relax. And I think if you go out in January especially and win a few more of these games, there is absolutely no reason why Arsenal can't win this. And that's why the conversation reminds me of Leicester. Every week, doubt. Leicester went through this. Every week, doubted. Until like the last 3 or 4 games. And it was like, oh my God, they might do this. And I think there'll be an element of that with Arsenal this year. I called it the Arsenal fear complex recently, and I'm renaming it now. There is a lot of what I call Arsenal derangement syndrome. And it's essentially a real acute case of denial.
Is there some of that in this room?
Club are back. Most rivals of Arsenal suffer with Arsenal derangement syndrome. ADS is what we're calling it. Do you suffer with ADS? Arsenal derangement syndrome.
I do, yeah. I can't stand your fans. Honestly, and I'll back this shamelessly to the very end. And I don't care yet. This downfall is gonna be so sweet. It's gonna be so sweet when you lot don't win it. Like, don't get me wrong, you can't ban it that you ain't gonna get top 4 or whatever it is, but the fact that it's most your fans that think they're going to win the league, in my opinion, that's just going to be making it more sweet. Goonally, you know who you are. Fremzy, you know who you are. You know every single one of them. Kunle especially.
Colleen, question for you. Do you think you can beat City at least once?
I think we can beat them at home at the Emirates. Away from home, I'm not so sure, I'll be honest with you. After our performance last year, although we did lose, it was a very encouraging performance in where we were and where the team where we were trying to build. This season, the Emirates is a different playground. The Emirates has never been a place where you can just come and grab points. But this season, it's top. I just think I don't see why I shouldn't be confident
I say that
winning there.
Because it's so tight at the top and you are winning nearly every game that you play. It's what will differentiate you two, because if you play City tomorrow and they beat you, they go above you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's how tight it is. This is literally almost as Liverpool and City were like last year, a couple of years ago, where literally you could say the title comes down to who can beat the other.
Head to head. Yeah.
Like, so,
but I think they can beat. I mean, listen, I know some people will laugh at it, but they were very close to doing it last year. And the reason they didn't was because of a few brain fart moments, essentially. And I think they're kind of past that. There's been a few mistakes from Gabriel this year at the back, but Xhaka isn't the player that he was. I don't see Xhaka giving away that penalty again. And I think Arsenal have grown, and I think there's a confidence there. They can definitely beat them at the Emirates. And listen, like Man City are the best team in the league in terms of the favourites of everybody, even though Arsenal have one more point than them this year. Arsenal have been better than them so far this campaign, but you kind of know over the course of time, you'd say City are better. But I think Arsenal have got a chance. I think they can beat them. I think they can do it. Will they do it is another question. But I think it's definitely plausible. Viewers, we want to know what you think and feel in the comments section. We've got a few super chats to do here. This one says we might see some weird results this weekend because of the World Cup. Anyways, love the show. Big up to you all. Missing Jess to hope she comes back soon. Late December, Jess will be back on the football terrace in terms of on these shows. Watch this space on some other things. Wolves' new manager takes over after this. Is it after this game?
Yeah, it's from the World Cup.
Oh, okay.
After the World Cup.
Oh, but that's a touch.
That's a touch.
Changes now.
Imagine Costa hadn't got sent off.
I know.
Would have been mad. Yeah, that would have not really. That man's finished.
No,
like, that
but
man
we
is
do
finished.
not.
You
like
tell that.
Costa.
You tell that to his face. I tell you, and that'll be a different story. I tell you.
Do you know, people keep doing this to me. Like, does anyone think I really sweat any footballer?
No, but Diego Costa's a bit.
Barring Adiak and Fenwa, the rest of them, like, most footballers are quite skinny.
Nah,
they're not big.
They're not.
Terry,
What?
Adama Traore, the baby oil, you're shocked, bro. You're shocked.
Imagine them fighting in the studio.
Do you know? I feel like, do you know what's,
People forget that muscles don't mean you can fight though.
But you know, about to say, you know, that's that scene, the great scene in Bad Boys 2 when young Reggie's at the door. I'm not going to use all the words, but can you fight? Like, that would be my words on footballer. Yeah, great, you look good, but can you fight? No, I'm joking. I can't fight. I'm a cream puff, but there we go. We'll move on from that. Mudryk, Danilo, Tielemans, Tony coming to Arsenal's side in January would elevate the side so much and would put a lot of fear into rivals. Maybe that's too many, but if you sign Mudryk, Tielemans, and Tony in a window,
that might be the best January window on paper
ever in history.
No. You're forgetting the best one. What? The signing of Patrice Evra and Vidic.
Yeah.
In a January, bro.
What are you gonna say, Kim Castro?
Kim Castro. Yeah, that was a ridiculous. The crazy thing when United did that, because there was no internet. No one really quite knew how good these two guys were. And their first game for United, they were awful. And I remember I was at Old Trafford. I was living in Manchester at the time. And the feeling was, what the hell have we just bought? Within like a year, they were looked at as two of the best in the league, best in Europe. It was crazy. And then they were January signings.
Evra v Abidal, who's the best left back.
Justin Lingard to West Ham, the greatest loan move.
That's a great loan move. That is. Saliba pockets the robot.
Oh, don't give me that.
Who's the robot?
Peter Crouch.
Haaland. Sorry. I didn't realize that's what people are calling him. I'm so out of touch.
I told you.
I'm so old. We'll get onto that a little bit later, people. Score predictions. Viewers, score predictions for Wolves and Arsenal this weekend. I will start them off for you, and I'm going 3-0 to Arsenal. 3-0.
We knew it. We knew it. He's an Arsenal fan. You guys heard it loud and clear.
3-0 to Arsenal is what I'm going with. We go to Colin and JJ.
2-0 Arsenal.
1-0. I think it's scrappy.
I think that is probably a good shout, to be fair.
Like that. And JJ and Kaz. JJ and Kaz.
I've changed.
Craig and Kaz.
Yeah, 2-0. Somebody didn't have 2-0 over there.
I didn't know it was.
I
If it was, I had 1-1. the manager was actually being with a squad and a setup and everything. So
Kaz, that's weak.
no, it's not weak.
Yeah.
No, back it.
Weakness. Speaking of weakness, could it be 5 games in the Premier League on the bounce this weekend that Chelsea, aka or the club formerly known as Chelsea, don't win? Chelsea have 5 games that they go to. And I know it isn't called that anymore. Maybe they've renamed it that now, but St James's Park. Yeah, definitely in the Sports Direct Arena anymore. St James's Park, 5:30 kickoff tomorrow. What is happening, people? Craig, how are you feeling about it, mate?
We haven't got a hope in hell. Honestly, we are done for. We never go up to Newcastle and play well. Rarely get a result, and that's when they weren't good. Now look at the fact that we're poor and they are decent. I am not confident about this one. I'm sorry, Chelsea fans. It's just I don't think this is going to be the one, and I do think that Chelsea are really going to struggle. I think the World Cup's going to play a massive factor in people's minds. I think that this team that Chelsea have got is too mishmash, and I think going to Newcastle of all places to try and get a result to bounce back is not somewhere you want to go. I can't see this ending well for us.
But where would you want to go? To be fair. Considering
it's a great
Aston Villa.
It's a great night out, to be fair. Give credit where it's due.
Aston Villa apparently went to your board or something and had a little tip about their new badge.
That's shocking. That is awful.
I'm not gonna.
That's KJ's second club.
That is my hometown.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. A week it's mad what it can do in football.
True.
A week ago we were actually debating Mikel Arteta or Potter, and at the moment I'm hearing a lot of people on Twitter saying Potter out.
I see that.
It's mad. It's mad. So it's just like I gotta agree with Craig. I think I don't even know what's going wrong though. Like that's the problem, because I know. Look, you might not be good enough to go and win the league, but surely you're good enough to beat the teams that you've lost to. Like even against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Poor showing. I don't know where it is.
So I'm actually happy that I've come on this today, because I had a really good point that I wanted to bring up. And you look at the players that Chelsea have brought in the last, let's say, 3-4 years, right? I mean, they did fail Lampard, I think. I think Lampard, he had his flaws 100%, but very clear and obvious that after Lampard went, these players' performances just picked up out of nowhere. It just, now we're going to start playing. We went on to win the Champions League. You look at Tuchel as well, and I think a lot of players, to be fair, failed him. And Tuchel was really unfortunate with how the transaction of the club went about and the sanctions and whatever. But now, obviously, he's lost his job, and he said, I think it was this week, he said that he had unfinished business with Chelsea. And I do agree. I think Tuchel was a great manager. Now you've got Graham Potter in. There's one consistency amongst all of this, which is Chelsea over the last 4 years have brought quite poorly overall. Werner was a flop. Kai Havertz has scored 1 goal, which makes him a Chelsea legend. Fine. But I mean,
that Torres for you guys as well, isn't it?
Do you know, James, but that's the thing. That's the thing. Kai Havertz is a great technical footballer, but does he fit what Chelsea are trying to do? What are Chelsea trying to do? What are Chelsea Football Club right now? That's a really big question. And I think that what Chelsea need to do is to support Graham Potter and give him the time and give him the energy. But I think what really needs to change, we've had this culture about sacking managers left, right, and centre. I'm sure there's Liverpool fans that say Klopp out. I'm sure there's City fans that stupidly say Pep out. I'm sure there's Arsenal fans that say Arteta out. There's been loads of people that have stupid opinions. But when Chelsea were this manager out, that manager out, that manager out, that manager out, we had people like John Terry, we had people like Lampard, we had people like Drogba, we had people like Cech that you could rely on. And Chelsea in the last, it's probably even more than 4 years, have not brought players of that quality. It's not easy to do, but that's what you've got to try and do. That you've got to build a team. And at the moment, you've got bits of Lampard, you've got bits of Sarri, you've got bits of, I don't know, probably not that many Conte players left, but you've got bits of Sarri, you've got bits of Lampard, you've got bits of Tuchel, you've now got, I suppose in Cucurella, you've got bits of Potter.
But the problem that you have, I guess...
What are Chelsea? And I think that's, again, similar sort of thing with Spurs. I think Chelsea need to identify what they are. And I think Chelsea need a proper rebuild, I have to be honest. And I think Potter is the man to do it, I have to be honest.
Off the back of that then, I completely get that, and I sympathise with Graham Potter, because obviously it's not his team. But these are the players that he's got, and he still has to get results, or we, that explanation can only go so far.
Yeah.
Especially as Chelsea fans, as I'm sure I don't need to tell you, when you play, maybe Newcastle, for example, because they're playing really well, but teams in and around like your Villas and your mid-table teams, you want to be beating. That's not really
to be
been
fair,
the case. Someone
like Villa, we did beat. We've done enough to go and get results at Villa Park. Mings gifted us 2 goals, or he definitely gifted us 1. But still, these things do happen. Chelsea are good enough to go and win games of football. Like I said to you last week, I wasn't confident. I had to try and big it up for this. I'm trying to help out. I'm trying to help Terry out here.
Everyone's saying now.
But realistically, I did think Chelsea could go and win the game, but I said Chelsea had a goal in us. The fact that we would have to potentially win a penalty and then go and score that penalty to get that goal is a problem in itself. And that's what, Chelsea need to identify what they want to do, what their style is, and then move forward with it. As of right now, Chelsea might have to finish outside the top 4. Chelsea might have to finish outside of Europe altogether. I don't know. But Chelsea need a big shock to the system. And I'm fine with it if, again, the long term is actually, is a project and there is targets that we should hit. It's not like Spurs when they have a rebuild where it's like, oh, yeah, we want to win trophies. Chelsea should be challenging for league titles with an S and Champions League titles with an S.
Craig.
Yeah.
But don't you think with all of this happening, your fan base is actually making it worse than it needs to
completely.
be?
Yeah, I was literally just going to say that because with Chelsea, it's difficult. It's like, what are they? Because, like, alluding to your point, because you've had a culture where it's been sack this manager, sack that manager, sack that manager, but you've won the most trophies.
Yeah,
like, in recent period in terms of numbers.
It worked.
But what it is now is you're going down a route, and you've tried to do it with Lampard, you tried to do it with Sarri, where you want the culture of the club to be about what the manager brings. So what Potter's done at Brighton, what Klopp's done at Liverpool.
Yeah.
But are the fans going to allow that to happen? Because for that to happen, you guys are going to be in the mud for a long while. And who knows if Potter can even, if he's got the minerals to do it. Like, there's no evidence of that.
And this is the thing. Potter should get given a chance. Whoever it is, if Potter, who Chelsea, the ownership has believed is going to be the man to take it forward. If they didn't think he was the man to take it forward, they wouldn't have paid £18 million to then potentially go and get him out. But it's just very difficult to try and justify changing managers constently when you don't have players that we've had down the years.
Listen, you're absolutely right. I've said it on a number of shows recently. You're in trouble because you've got all these different managers, players all together, and you're then going in a new direction. You've got a few people have said, well, Newcastle turned their thing around quickly. That's because everybody there wants to be there still. There are people at Chelsea right now, in my humble opinion, that do not want to be there.
They want to pick up. I think there's a fair few people at Chelsea that want to pick up a wage bill every single week. And fair enough to them because they've been given the money.
All footballers want the money. I think, though, but when you sign to play for Lampard, or when you signed to play for Tuchel, or if you signed to play Sarri style of football, and then you fast forward a year, 2, 3, whatever it's been, and go, God, we're on to the 3rd or 4th guy, then it becomes disheartening. I've worked in companies, big companies, where you go through this whole transition period of like a new system and a new way of operating and a new sales process, and you give it a go for 6 months. The guy, guess what? We've invented an even better one, but it's a complete overhaul again. You get to a point where you're jaded and you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. I just want to go somewhere where there's a bit of consistency, and there's a lot of tough times to come. The painful bit for Chelsea this weekend is right now Newcastle are a better team. Newcastle are playing 100%. Better football. They're more cohesive. They're more together. I'm looking at the league table. You guys can see it on the screen. I've just put it up there. Look, I'm hoping Fulham don't win this weekend, right? But if Crystal Palace and Liverpool win and you lose, you lot are going into the World Cup in 9th. 9th place in the league.
That is crazy.
9th place.
That is crazy.
And you know, again, there's a shock to the system is what is needed. That's the sort of thing that Chelsea need to get back to where we want to be. It's a shock to the system.
But quick one, Craig, you spoke about, obviously, your players letting the managers down. And you spoke about like a couple of instances. It happened under Mourinho. It's happened under Conte as well, where the players down tools. If that's the culture within the players, could you not see that happening again under Potter?
But time will be given to it,
not because the fans don't want it, but it's just the players are looking at it like, that's just Potter though.
So there's one thing that slightly helps Chelsea with this, and you wouldn't know about this because it's not your club, but Chelsea this summer, there's a lot of players that are out of contract. There's a lot of people that can just say, thank you very much, see you later. And they're gone, which is great for Chelsea, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of people, someone like Jorginho and Conte, they're on massive wages. They're not players that are going to take Chelsea forward for years to come. That then gives an opportunity for someone like Graham Potter, who is the manager, to build a culture. That's why I massively respect what Liverpool have done in building the culture with Klopp. I massively respect what City have done for years, right from the word go, of trying to build a culture of playing nice, attractive football. They started it with Mancini. They then went to Pellegrini. Then now they've gone for Pep. They know what they want to do, and they do it very, very well. Chelsea's idea is to win games, win trophies, and look brilliant. That was the old regime. This current crop have got to, this current ownership, have got to do something more. And I think Chelsea need a proper rebuild, a proper project. And that was why I personally was really disheartened that Lampard went when he did, because I know that Chelsea need that reset. And it's not going to be easy. And I'm fine with it, as long as it leads to more.
And I do get that. And you definitely need it. And some people in the comments, by the way, saying they can end up 10th. Yes, I know that. But I'm not thinking about Fulham winning, you see. I've got to box that out. I've got to put out
Brentford as well. If they actually win, Chelsea are on black +1, only -3.
Yeah.
If they get a few goals, Newcastle and Brentford get a couple goals.
Theoretically, Brentford could go ahead of you as well. So
we might not even be the best team in West London.
We're going to do score predictions here. What we think the score in this game is going to be. I'll start it off. I am going to go with a 3-1 home victory to Newcastle this weekend. That's what I've gone with. We'll go for Craigo and Kaz.
I went 0-0.
0-0.
I'm going to be confident and go for 1-1.
Is that an optimistic Chelsea fan?
That's we score.
JJ and Colleen?
2-1 Newcastle.
I've gone 2-0. I don't think they're scoring.
Almiron scoring again for you.
Back.
He's on fire.
Player of the month.
Buy your stocks.
Mikel.
We'll say that. Player of the month and manager of the month curse.
And goal of the month as well.
Oh, yeah, they won all three, didn't they?
Wow. Yeah, they deserve it. Yeah, I'm going to go with 3-1 Newcastle. I am. Some other score predictions to do quickly. Liverpool versus, what are we saying? Liverpool versus Southampton. That's what we're going to do. Viewers, we want to know what you think on that. Liverpool versus Southampton.
At Anfield?
At Anfield, yes.
Southampton manager.
No.
I want you to...
Oh. Yeah. But with Liverpool, you just don't know what you're going to get with them this season, honestly. They could thrash them or lose.
I'll do mine first for that game. I'm going with 2-2. I think it's going to be a score draw. Liverpool 2, Southampton 2 is my score prediction for that. I want to know what yours is in the comment section, people. Craig and Kaz?
I went for 2-1.
2-0.
Liverpool.
I've gone 1-0. I think.
2-2.
Let me see it, JJ.
Yeah, he ain't even holding it up. He's not confident.
I'm not confident.
That's why. I'm saying 1-0. I've just, there's something in me that's telling me, you know what, the players will get this over the line. I think Southampton just sat their manager. They're quite poor as well. We're at home. There's going to be an expectation from the fans. And I think if we get that win, it eases the pressure of, do you know what I mean, us after the World Cup in terms of like trying to get to top
And that's
four.
exactly why you're not going to win.
No. Southampton's contractual yearly 9-0 battering is coming.
Listen, we've done it against Bournemouth. This might be the game. You just don't know. You don't know. So
there we go. Final member of the top 6 playing this weekend will be City.
We didn't do Spurs as well, Terry, so you need to do Spurs too.
Oh, do we not do Spurs? Oh, we'll do City first then. Sorry, I forgot about Spurs.
I'll do both.
I'm going to go the Man City 4-0 win. Big pressure they're going to put on Arsenal in that 7:45 kickoff. I'm going City. They're at home against Brentford. So that's why I don't think Brentford are getting the win, by the way.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Does it matter who City play?
I didn't want to say that until, Brentford. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go over in that one. 4-0 to Manchester City. Hat-trick from Haaland incoming is what I'm going to go with. Let's go to JJ and Colleen on this one.
Please.
I like yours.
It's a score draw out of pure desperation. I hate Brentford. It's one of. I actually hope they get relegated. I don't like them.
because of the loss.
Yes, I'm a bitter woman. I'm bitter. But Thomas Frank, if you can do anything for me, what you do look
Brentford's
a little bit
got, like the
Unai
worst
Emery as well.
I
So
gave you guys the one goal, just a goal difference. Just a goal
And
difference.
you know, what I like in that is Brentford to score first, so the Gooners will get all excited.
Fulham game. Oh my god!
69th minute, Brentford equaliser, and then before you know it, Haaland just pops up. That's
Yeah,
it.
off the bench.
Please.
What are you saying,
please.
gents?
I'm going Haaland hat-trick. How many goals is he on in the Premier League, by the way?
Disgusting
many.
numbers.
Huh?
Too many.
Yeah, too many hat-tricks.
Disgusting numbers. That's
Haaland
why-
I don't want to say something mad, but isn't it like 17 or how many goals has he got?
I think he's got. I think he's
18, 17.
He's more than halfway. I think he's 18 with 17 left to break the
Oh,
record.
that's a
Hasn't he already matched
And
his
do you know what's
dad's?
funny? When I said to everybody, I think he'll break Mo Salah's record by 30 games. You know when you just get laughed at by everybody? Not a single. But my children don't even know who Haaland is. They laughed at me. They're like, "Dad, stop it!" And he's gonna, unless he gets injured, he's doing it. I think he might do it by about 25 games.
Well, do you
at
think
this
he gets
rate.
40 in the league?
I think if he stays fit and plays 38 full games, I think he could score between 40 and 45 league goals.
Oh, yeah.
I think in all competitions, I said it about 2 months ago. I think in all comps this season, he could break 60 goals in all comps.
It's so unfortunate he plays for
If
Norway.
the current goal scoring rate per game he's currently got, he will. If he plays, I think the average City player has played 55 games. Of course, he'll break Messi's record for the highest single goal scoring season ever. He's currently on track to beat Messi's individual goal scoring season. Not calendar year, but individual goal scoring season.
That's ridiculous.
Right, it's Tottenham. I do Tottenham predictions now, and this is my full prediction. This is what I'm going with here. 2-2 with Conte out pending. And that's not Conte out for me. I can't be Conte out. But more Tottenham fans are going to be Conte out by the end of this weekend. I'm going to go to Craigo and Kaz.
2-1 Spurs.
2-0. Somerville's definitely getting a score. He's definitely scoring.
Somerville.
I'm loving it. Him and that boy, was it Nyoko, the Italian boy? Yeah, he's baller. Them lot.
I've gone 3-2 Leeds. Make it a bit dramatic. A little bit of heartbreak just for the last game until the World Cup.
Yeah,
More
I've given
flair.
it 1-1. I think they just steady the ship and just.
Your
yeah.
predictions have been quite conservative today.
Yeah, do you know what it is? It's the World Cup. It's the World Cup. I've just got a feeling some of these players are just. There's going to be a
Not for
couple
it.
giant killings. I think there will.
Definitely. I think at least 2 of the top 6 lose this weekend.
Yeah, I think
Not a
we're in
clue
for
who.
couple
Well,
shots.
Chelsea.
Yeah, we're one of them.
And someone else. I hope it's not us. We're going last. Do you know what? If everyone wins and we're the last game, it's like, nah, we're done. We're done out here. We're done out here. We've got some super chats here. Charlene stalking JJ.
That is very mean. It's not mean because nothing wrong with Charlene, but Charlene from AFTV, she's gonna call Colleen Charlene. That's what you say.
Oh, not the same person.
Not the same person.
There we go.
I'm confused. What?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate.
Don't forget. ESR is that Smith Rowe?
Yes.
Will be back after the World Cup.
Like
Yes,
he's
he
anything
will.
special.
He is a decent little player. Don't do that.
Yeah, he's decent.
Don't
Remember
do
those
that.
words, decent. He's
Don't
not
do
all that.
Listen, him coming on after 60 minutes. So this is Terry standing up. This is Terry standing up.
He's out in seat, people. He's out in
I
seat.
pressed the wrong button.
Tyrion.
That's
So
my
it's a Lissandro now.
Terry, if one club has ever won 100 Carabao Cups and another club has only won 10 league titles, which is the bigger club?
That's a good question.
It's a very good question because 100. See,
That's a lot.
again, do you know what I'd say? I'm gonna throw out a little thing here and say maybe the Carabao Cup thing. The reason I say that is if you're good enough to win 100 Carabao Cups, Liverpool got the most at 9, right? So if you've got 100, right,
Fair play.
you've got to be pretty damn good, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like imagine your club gets 100. That means you basically won it. That's even impossible, by the way.
Terry,
It's only been out for about
What's the
70
conversion?
years.
That's what I'm saying.
Terry, what is the conversion rate? Like the British pound?
Yeah, that's it.
sinking. What
It's
is
probably about the same, 10-1. You'd say 10-1 maybe. So yeah, it's a hard
Yeah.
one, but yeah. This chair is definitely sinking by itself, you know, because I can see myself getting lower and lower. This chair, it definitely is. It's going down by itself. Jesus, I knew I put a bit of weight on. But my big old back off doing bits, you know. So we had that one. Let's leave up pockets. Him. There we go. Listen, viewers, I appreciate you all tuning in as always, each and every single week. Thank you. We're back, of course, tomorrow. A very busy day with match reaction, so make sure you're tuning in. Sunday as well, and then we start the big build up to the World Cup, probably from about Tuesday, Wednesday onwards. There'll be fallout Monday or so after the last round of Premier League games. I want to say a big shout out to our title sponsors, NordVPN. I've already had about 30 DMs from you guys going, exactly how do I set this up? So I know a lot of you are going to sign up and use their products. Aside from all the ways of getting discounts, you have to protect yourself online. I'm not even joking to you. If you're using the internet and you don't have protection from a VPN, it is a madness in 2022. There are hackers everywhere. There are scammers everywhere. It's huge all over the place. Just to let you know as well, YouTube's even got problems at the minute with people that create fake accounts pretending to be like subsidiaries of the YouTube accounts you're watching and telling you to like come onto my Telegram and you've won a prize, you've won this, you won that. Just be careful of it. The VPN provider helps show you these things before you click on links, all sorts of different things. So get it downloaded, scan that QR code on the screen or click on the link in the description below. Colleen and JJ, thank you both very, very much indeed.
Thank you.
Craigo, Kaz, appreciate it. Man like KJ over there on doing all the technical stuff for us tonight. Thank you very much. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon.
Terrace True Hype revealed.